So brand advocacy was developed because what we're seeing is that brands need a lot of education. It's not just in terms of content best practices, but also organizationally, how they should set up their teams, how they should work with external partners. The advent of live or real-time marketing means that they need to be more nimble. And what we've found is that when we help brands solve these problems, they become better on the platform. You know, there's been a big shift, I'd say, in the last year where brands are starting to plan for live. The best brands who are live are brands that are actually thinking about it far in advance. And what we see at Twitter is that it's actually really predictable what's going to happen. And so three big themes that we're speaking about. One is the everyday moment that exists every day for brands. And when you step back from 500 million tweets a day, which is what we see, you start to see patterns. So we know when people are hungry, we know when people are going to go for runs, we know when people are talking about being tired. If you're a brand, understanding those signals and offering up content in the moment when it's most relevant, it can be really effective. So helping brands understand first that they need to really figure out the everyday opportunity is a big thing. The second is around social TV. So TV and Twitter, really strong connection between the two. And what we're seeing is that brands have gone from test and learn to now they're really starting to plan programmatically across the year what they're doing on TV and what they're doing on Twitter. Just in December, we released a study that showed a study of media mix modeling, and we looked at two different verticals in two different markets. And over the course of 3 years, when you tie TV and Twitter together, bearing in mind that we didn't have our TV ad products yet, it didn't actually include keyword text targeting. We saw a huge increase on ROI for CPG and huge decrease rather in cost of acquisition for telco. So looking at two different verticals to see if they measured up. So those kinds of results we're seeing brands are realizing they need to plan the two together. So you'd be watching a game, right? Live event, the Greek chorus on Twitter is watching with you, and an amazing play would happen. Somebody would make a great pass, a ref would make a bad call, and Twitter would respond. And so what we saw is the opportunity there to offer up a piece of content, that replay that everyone is looking for if you weren't watching that game, because you're seeing everyone talk about it on the platform. So we've done deals with around 30 networks where essentially they are working with Twitter to offer up content in the moment that everyone is talking about. And so if you're a brand like Verizon, which spends significantly on the NFL, to amplify your sponsorship, essentially, offering up that piece of video content in the moment when everyone is talking about it is a great service to the people on Twitter. To then put a 6-second pre-roll featuring your brand in front of it is a really smooth, seamless way to sort of double down on that significant spend that you're already doing. So it's from a brand perspective, you're offering up really great content that brands want. Broadcasters love it because it's promoting what they want people to tune into, and the simplicity of it we're finding is working really well. I think, video, we see really high engagement on tweets that have rich content. So the acquisition of Vine, huge. Variety just named it. The technology innovation of the year for 2014. It was the app of the year last year for 2013. And so, that was a very strategic decision because we know that video plays well, so to speak, on the platform. To say that we want people to do more with it, I think, we're continuing to play with different ways that we might incorporate video and make that experience even more seamless. Certainly, we like the fact that Twitter connects across channels, and brands are using us as the connective tissue to sort of accelerate their story and architect a more cohesive story that they're offering to people. And so I think video is part of that, and we know that people like to watch it. TV ad targeting, again, think about the impact when you run TV TV ads with Twitter. What you're doing is you're basically, it's a frequency play. And what we're seeing brands do is they're looking at these highly social moments that they're sponsoring on TV, where everyone is sort of tweeting and watching together. They're running media throughout, and they're essentially continuing the story on Twitter and reminding people and sort of inspiring people about what their brand is about. So we've seen brands like Target and Volkswagen and others do some really smart things that are just making their dollars work harder for them. And I think, again, go back to the media mix modeling study, it has profound effect on your business when you do it right and do it well.